Hey guys, welcome to Reading with Mo. My name is Mo, and today we are going to be doing a beautiful book haul. So it's been a couple months since I've done a book haul in general, and I've kind of been putting it off because I have gone a little bit crazy extra with the book buying. I have bought way too many books over the past couple of months. I blame having too much free time during quarantine and then going back to work and using it as a reward system when I have a stressful day at work to buy books when I come home. So that being said, I have a lot of books to talk about. I'm really excited about them. We have some really beautiful ones here. I can't wait to show you guys. A few of them I have read, most of them I have not yet. I'm going to break this up into two parts actually, because I don't want this video to be too long, and I want to make sure that I give enough time to show you guys properly each one of them. So look out for part 2. It should be coming within another week or so, hopefully a week or two. And so I'm going to show you about half of the ones that I bought in this video, because there's quite a few. I'm not going to say how many. I'm not even going to count how many. I don't need to know. I'm just going to know that I will read them eventually. Let's go ahead and start with a set of books I actually received in the mail this week. I bought these books actually back in February, but because of the pandemic and everything, the ship date just getting pushed back and back and back, and I finally have them. And so it's a book series, and let me show you it in the way it's meant to be seen here. So this is the Red Rising series from Pierce Brown. These are the Fairyloot editions. So the spines make this cool looking design here, and then on the other side there are sprayed edges. Now I don't know too much about this book series. I believe it's sci-fi, takes place on Mars. Other than that, I don't know too much, besides I've heard a lot of good things about this series in general. It's one of those series I always meant to get to, but I just haven't, and when I seen these specific editions, I decided it was time to pick them up, and I was really excited to finally get them. Like I said, it's been almost half a year at least since I ordered them, but I will say I did have a little bit of disappointment in that they didn't arrive to me in the best condition. Like, you probably couldn't see when I was just showing you, but for example, the Morningstar edition, I don't even know if it'll show up, probably not because it's on camera, but there's these like cuts going down the length of the book, and they look like if you were to take a really sharp, thin knife or something, and they're like lines going in. They're actual cuts in the book, so it's nothing I can do about it. So that was a little bit annoying. And I guess that's just me being picky, although I feel like that's pretty not cool for a book that you're going to ship to someone to have that kind of damage on it. And also this one kind of got like crumpled a little bit on the bottom of this book, which I guess is me just being picky. But also even just like this one, the Red Rising one, has like, I don't know if it looks like some type of mark or smudge or something. For the price of the books, how much I paid, I would kind of expect a little bit better quality when it comes to that, but I don't think I'm gonna even say anything to them, honestly, because I know the series sold out, so what can I do? It's not like they're gonna ship me new ones. They don't have any other ones, so I'm probably not gonna say anything, but it does make me kind of hesitant, I would say, to order more books from Fairyloot, because I know these books weren't damaged in shipping. They were shipped very well. Like, they had a whole layer of bubble wrap around each book and a layer of wrapping paper, like thick wrapping paper around it in a good sized box. So these aren't things that happened while it was being shipped to me. These were things that happened before they were shipped to me. I'm so excited to get to this series, and I will hopefully do it soon, but I have a feeling it'll probably be a couple months. While we're talking about series, I'll go ahead and show you guys. I bought a whole series of books. First, I bought the first one in the series just to make sure I was gonna like it, and I did, so I went ahead and purchased the rest, and altogether there are 6 books in this series. It's the Memoir of Lady Trent series. So right now I am reading Voyage of the Basilisk. This is the 3rd one in the series, and so I'm reading that one. I already read A Natural History of Dragons, which I really enjoyed. I think this is going to be my favorite one in the series. And I read the 2nd one, which is The Tropic of Serpents, which I enjoyed as well. So I have these 3 left to go. Maybe I'll binge read them this month. We'll see. I'm not sure yet. To sum up what the series is about, we are following Lady Trent. These are her memoirs, and she lives in this fantasy world. The land that she lives in is called Scotland. It's very reminiscent of like Victorian England type of like civilization. and with the added element of there's dragons, and she wants to become a dragon naturalist, but it's very looked down upon because she's a woman in her society. But that is her passion, and we know that she succeeded because from the book we're reading, she's writing from the point of view of when she's older and she has already accomplished all these things, and now she's telling us her tale in her life, and they're really interesting. I really enjoyed them, and I would recommend the audiobooks too. I've kind of been going back and forth. So in this part 1 of this book haul, I'm gonna probably be talking about a lot of the ones that I've already read so far. So continuing with that, I picked Transcendent Kingdom by Yagazi. This is the Book of the Month edition. I decided to renew my subscription so I could get one of the editions of this book without those ugly stickers they put on the front. At least the Book of the Month ones are gold and like go with the overall design of the book. This is Yagazi's follow-up to her, her follow-up novel. Homegoing was her other one. I don't own it, but I would like to own a copy of that book eventually, so I could reread it. And this one we're following a young woman who is a science student, and she's grappling with science and her beliefs in her faith and some other family stuff such as like addiction and things that she's experienced. And so this one is a good book. I have a few books that were sent to me from Booksparks. I read one of them so far. It's Early Departures by Justin A. Reynolds, who also wrote Opposite of Always. If you guys watched my wrap up for the month of September, a lot of these books were on there, and I really enjoyed this one. Jamal, who is our main character, his best friend died. He tried to save him when he was drowning, but he ends up dying, and he's temporarily given the opportunity to be able to come back to life because of this new like health science thing that they've invented, but only for a short period of time. And so this novel is following that short period of time. Also, we're seeing why they fell out as best friends before all of this happened. And yeah, I'm gonna try to keep this not this isn't a wrap up. I'm just gonna show you guys the books. And then they sent me Flyy Girls. This is a book series. These are really cute. They're like super tiny. I'll try to show you guys them up close. These are the covers. They're really pretty. I hadn't heard of them before. The author on these is Ashley Woodfolk. I don't know what the general themes of these books are supposed to be, but I know for the first one we're following a girl who's going to an art school in Harlem. She really can't get kicked out because her only other option is going to be go to military school, and she decides to join the Flyy Girls, who are the 3 coolest kids in her grade. She's going to join their crew, focus on photography, and stay out of trouble, but can she actually start over, or will her past catch up to her? I think each of these is following a different girl that is part of this group of girls. So I have book 1, which is Lux, and a book 2, which is Micah. The next book I picked up with the intention of trying to read it hopefully during the month of November. I'm almost exclusively planning on reading nonfiction books, and this is one that I've been wanting to get to for forever. I've heard nothing but good things about it, and that's The Warmth of Other Suns by Isabel Wilkerson. This is the epic story of America's Great Migration. It's a chunky one for sure. I want to pair reading this book with Stamped from the Beginning, which is also another book that is really being talked about a lot lately, and they're both chunky books, so I'm going to try and read them over the course of like 1 week. We'll see what happens. I've heard nothing but good things about this book, and I know this author just came out with another book called Cast, so I'm hoping that if I enjoy this book, then I'll go ahead and pick up her other one. I think the next few books are parts of series. So the first one is The Warden by Anthony Trollope. This is a classic book. I don't really know too much about this one. It was actually one of the other books in the series that had caught my attention, and then I realized it was part of a series, so I decided to buy the first one. I think there's 4 or 5 books in the series, but I just bought the first one because I want to read this first and see if I like it or not before I commit to buying all the rest in the series, because they're not like the cheapest books, especially in these editions that I found to buy. But I love these editions. Like, this is probably one of my favorite book designs, when a book is a hardcover but doesn't need a dust jacket, and the design is printed on the hardcover itself. I just have a very soft spot for those types of books, and so I'm really hoping that I do enjoy this series because I want to buy the rest of the books in the series. Yeah, so this series is called The Chronicles of Barsetshire, and there are 6 of them altogether. I can't remember exactly what the premise of this was, but I believe we follow a man who is part of like the clergy in a smaller village or something like that, but I guess we'll find out. Next we have the first book, which is I think part of a series but I don't know how many are supposed to be in the series. The first one is called The Court of Miracles. It's the only one out so far yet, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, you guys know. This is by Kester Grant. This is a fantasy series. I believe it's supposed to be, well, kind of like what made me interested in it is it's not exactly like a retelling of Les Miserables, but it's supposed to be something kind of similar. So 1828, and the citizens of Paris still mourn in the wake of their failed revolution. Among them, in the dark alleys and crumbling cathedrals of the city, the most wretched have gathered into guilds of thieves, assassins, and worse. Together they are known as the Court of Miracles. So yeah, this is a reimagining of Les Miserables and what happened if the French Revolution had failed. And something I really love, which makes this book even, I mean, this is a really nice cover, don't get me wrong, but it's not one that like necessarily hugely stands out to me. Although I do like the gold foiling. But underneath the dust jacket, this book is so beautiful. Like what, I think I'm gonna have to store this without its dust jacket on just because I want to look at this every single day. It's so pretty. Yeah, they really came for me with that book. It was a book I was like kind of interested in, but once I seen that cover underneath the dust jacket, I just knew that I was going to have to buy it. Next we have Written in Blood by Chris Carter. This is part of a series following the detective Robert Hunter. Yeah, Robert Hunter is his name. You don't have to have read the other books in the series to be able to pick this one up. I thought this was really cool with the fake blood on the sprayed edges, and this is a signed exclusive edition from Waterstones. I did get to reading this book last month and I really did enjoy it. We're following not just the detective, but a few other key players in this mystery thriller. There's a serial killer who they found his journal from, like an active serial killer, where he describes all of the killings that he's done, where he's put the bodies, all this stuff, and he's still very much active. So yeah, it was a good book. Definitely I would recommend. Next we have one that was kindly sent to me from one of my subscribers. It was from my Amazon wishlist, and that's Anne of Green Gables, the graphic novel edition by, it's adapted by Mariah Marsden and illustrated by Brenna Thumler. Anne of Green Gables is my favorite book of all time. As you can see, I have almost the whole shelf dedicated to Anne of Green Gables related books, and I was really excited to get this one. I read it the same day I received it in the mail, and I love the illustration style on this. It's just very cute, and I'm really glad that I got to read this. I love Anne of Green Gables, and I haven't really read the book in a little bit, so probably next year I'll have to do another reread. Then we have a book that I won in an Instagram giveaway, and that's The All Night Sun by Diane Zena. This one we're following it follows the relationship of a very lonely teacher. She's young. She lost both of her parents in a car accident. She ends up forming a friendship with one of her international exchange students, and she ends up going back to Switzerland for the summer with her, where a lot of things happen. I'll just leave it at that. And to me, this book was just okay, but I am glad that I got the chance to read it. Then another one that was sent to me is No Presents Please by Jayant Kaikini. This is a short story collection. These are all set in Mumbai. I read the first one so far and I really enjoy it. I just need to continue on with this one. I don't know what's taking me so long to get back to it, but eventually I will complete this. It also won the DSC prize for South Asian literature. I could definitely believe, because I read the first short story and it was so good. I don't know what is keeping me from continuing on with the rest of these. Maybe I'm just scared that all the rest of them aren't going to live up to how good the first one was. Another book that was sent to me was Being Lolita. This is a memoir by Allison Wood. This one follows the memoir story of the author Allison Wood, and she had an inappropriate relationship with her English teacher when she was a senior in high school, and so now she's older, looking back on and telling the experiences of how that came about, what it was like going through, everything that happened. So yeah, definitely a very interesting memoir. The next book was also sent to me, and that is A Girl is a Body of Water by Jennifer Nansubuga Makumbi. I think I don't remember exactly who sent me this. I think I requested it through one of those like monthly newsletters that sometimes I get for books for review. In this book, we're following a 13-year-old girl. Her name's Karabo, and she grows up in a small Ugandan village, and I don't think she has a relationship with her mother. She's raised by the women of the village. So this book is about her figuring out her origins and stuff like that. I don't know, it just sounded really interesting to me, and I hope that I enjoy this one. I haven't gotten around to reading this one yet. A few weeks ago I went to Barnes & Noble. There were 2 books specifically that I was hoping to find when I was there, as I don't really go to Barnes & Noble very often just because they're very expensive, but I love walking around Barnes & Noble. It's just like one of my favorite places to go in life, and I got 2 of their they just make such nice editions of classic books, and I've been looking specifically for a nice edition of The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne, and I found this one there. This one was only $10, so that was a great find. It has the nice red sprayed edges. This is like the flexible leather editions, and this is the cover, the back, and it has like one of those nice little ribbon bookmarks, and then obviously the book inside. This is the end papers. But yeah, I read The Scarlet Letter forever ago. Pretty familiar with the general plotline of the story, but it was a classic that I was hoping to reread again. So now that I have this nice edition, hopefully that will happen sometime soon. And then the other one I got was, I almost purchased it on eBay, because when I looked on the Barnes & Noble website, it was saying that they didn't have it in stock, but when I went there I was able to find one just randomly, so it was meant to be, and that is their edition of War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. I read a different Leo Tolstoy book before, Anna Karenina, and that's the only one I read by him, but I've wanted to read more by that author. And specifically War and Peace is one that's always one of those classics that's always like referred to and mentioned and stuff, and I just could not pass up this beautiful edition. I knew I wanted to buy War and Peace, I just didn't know what edition I wanted to buy, if I wanted this one or the Penguin Cloth Bound Classics ones. As you can see, this ones I have behind me here, but I like this one. I think this one is a little bit nicer edition, a nicer like design and stuff. This is a very chunky book. It is 800 over plus pages, so I'm probably not going to get to it anytime soon, but definitely I'll eventually get to it. Now we're down to the last 2 books for this part 1, and the first one is called Things Austen. I came across this book on Bookstagram, and I thought it was really cute, and I looked into what it was about, and I figured since I'm pretty much almost done reading all of Jane Austen's books, I just have like 1 or 2 left to go, and they're not even like the full novels. This would be something interesting to read afterwards. And this is a concise encyclopedia of Austen's world. I'll show you up close what it looks like. There's the front and here's the back. And it would be a nice addition to my pink bookshelf here, because that bookshelf isn't even full anymore because I've read some of the books on there, gotten rid of some of the books on there. So I'm always on the lookout for other pink books so I can keep that bookshelf stocked. This book goes into different research on different information that is throughout Jane Austen's books, like domestic items, the social scene, the workplace, the church, special events and rituals, everyday customs in Jane Austen's England. And so there's all different entries on all kinds of stuff that really will just help you to have a richer, deeper understanding of the world that Jane Austen was writing in and about. And so I feel like this would be really nice to read this, because eventually I would like to reread all of Jane Austen's books, and so I feel like this will help me to go in there with a little bit better understanding of like that whole world. And then last but not least, the last beautiful book, which the cover on this one is gorgeous as well, is Bookworm, a memoir of childhood reading by Lucy Mannigan. I don't know if you guys can see here, but like this gold foiling is super gorgeous, and it's also on the back as well. In this book, the author is revisiting her love of reading when she was a kid, going through different novels and books that were kind of well known that a lot of us are familiar with, and looking at her relationship to reading at that age. I thought it would be really cute, and I'm hoping to get to this one during nonfiction November for sure. Yeah, this one definitely is one of the higher priority books for the month. So I hope you guys enjoyed this beautiful book haul, part 1. Like I said, the second part will be up within the next week or 2, and I have a whole bunch of other books that I'm really excited to share with you guys, and I hope you guys really enjoyed seeing these books and maybe came across 1 or 2 books that you're now interested in or that you hadn't seen or heard of before. But that's it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!